and in relationship to you, the script on the computer in relationship to you. But this is the case in studios, whether it's auditions or jobs. And it's learning how to actually get your sound going forward. A lot of you were off mic. Now, makes sense because you're trying to read, right? But one of the things that I want to show is how, for instance, very important, very, very important. One of the things you want to have happen is your eyes to be there, script, lips forward. So see eyes, lips. This is the standard technique. Hilton not only welcomes you, we're honored to have you. Join Hilton Honors and earn points. See what's happening? Yes, lips forward, eyes here, as opposed to lips here, following the eyes. Everybody see that? So that's important. Lips forward, eyes here. And it takes a while to get adjusted to that. It really does. It takes a while to get adjusted to that. But that's the standard. And believe me, the more you get your sound line forward, it helps to amplify the sound. Because you can hear yourself in those headphones, right? Yeah. Well, if you're off mic, you also hear that your voice is not as present. And what happens is you start pushing your voice to compensate, as opposed to if your sound line's forward, the microphone amplifies your voice so that you can be really casual and calm, as opposed to if you're off mic, you're going to start pushing because you can't hear. So it's important to get that sound line forward.
I what you just said is true, but I always noticed the last couple of years that the way you make glasses, particularly with the bigger, with lenses or they make the bigger spaces.
Yes.
That sometimes that doesn't always work because if you look at it like that and you're looking down at it, you're probably out of focus because they put the focus of the lenses now right in the center.
You're talking about for on camera.
Well, if you're going to read it and you wear glasses.
Oh, yes.
I'm saying if you read it and you wear glasses.
Yes.
Because if you don't look straight ahead, even if you look a little bit, maybe about a quarter of an inch away from very center, the focus is gone.
I got you. And that's a good point because for those that wear glasses, then it becomes a matter of making the adjustment with the stand.
Right.
And typically you would say to the engineer, hey, I'm having some difficulty with my right or left focus. I typically like to have the script to my left. That's me. So that I'm really more here. My eyes are to the left, my lips are forward, eyes to the left, lips forward. But you may prefer the right or the left. Because typically the stand is going to be on one side or the other. You're never going to get the stand behind. You're never going to see that. And you're certainly not going to see it in front of you.
Right.
So it's either to the right or the left. And it is a bit of an adjustment, learning that technique. Mm-hmm. It really is. And then, I've talked about bodying and expression. And so imagine your lips are forward and you're seeing the script and it's really getting your body involved and then visualizing and still keeping your lips forward, getting back to the script. Because again, as I said, if you keep your eyes glued to the page, and I did see a lot of that upstairs, but for good reason. It's cold reads. So I expected that. But for the most part, in voiceover work, you're going to get your scripts ahead of time with your at-home auditions. And so you have time to read it. So at that particular point, your eyes should not be glued to the script. Make sense? So I want to talk about animation and narration because we're all going to go upstairs together. We're going to do your final recordings as you exit. A couple of things about animation, which I'm going to pass these pieces around to you. You can choose any one of these inanimate object monologues. Remember, animation is the most fun of all the voiceover genres. It's bigger, it's more bombastic, so it's not soft and warm, it's big. You're a character, and acting is important. Acting. So here's one of the things I want to teach you about animation that's very important. It's a Michael Chekhovian technique called the psychophysical gesture, meaning that if I wanted to show Joseph that I'm dominating him, my psychophysical gesture would be this. And that would fuel the voice. One of the things that animation voice actors try to do is make their voice sound a certain way. You don't want to do that. It's manufactured, it sounds false, doesn't sound real. So it never works. But if I try to, I got you. I didn't try to make my voice do that. The acting did that. So that's important. Psychophysical gesture channels the voice. So I want to see that with your animation recordings upstairs as you look through your monologues here and select a and they're not really monologues or a couple of sentences, but as you decide on which one you want to choose, think about your psychophysical gesture and be big and have fun. On the audiobook material, audiobooks are about telling a story. They are about engaging in your own storytelling style. Once again, the same applies. Don't get caught up in the words. Imagine that you're talking to someone. If you're doing Matthew Kelly's The Happiness Paradox, imagine that you're talking to someone. You know, Carla, everybody wants to be happy. You want to be happy? I want to be happy. And it should just come out smooth flowing. Because that's a self-help book, ultimately. So keep in mind that you're talking to someone. Keep in mind that you're connecting and detaching from the words. We're only going to do maybe a quarter, perhaps, of the audiobook recordings. And we're all going to go up at one time to save the time in terms of everybody coming up and down. But we're all going to go up, we're going to record, and then that's a wrap. On Monday, I will be sending over all of your recordings, as well as, for each of you, a personalized kind of pathway based on what I've heard, based on your stories about how you were initiated into SAG-AFTRA. And again, guys, most importantly, above all things, please feel free to use me as you need to. And you don't need to have some service from me or to work with me in some capacity from a service standpoint to utilize my mentorship. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah, we don't have to pay you.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about that. I mean, you know, so in other words, if you say to me, you know, Leonard, I can't wait for you to do some demo at this time. I'm going to get it done sooner. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that you can't use me as a mentor. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with whether we have a working relationship after this. We still have a human relationship after this. And if I can help you, I'm more than happy to.
But you can produce a demo.
I can. Yes.
Okay. Right. You do charge for that.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
But I'm saying outside of
I
services,
understand.
you know, even if you said, you know, if you whatever the reason, I can't afford it right now, I don't want to do it right now, or Leonard, you're waiting too long to do it, or whatever the reason is, doesn't mean you can't use my mentorship.
Because
take advantage of it.
Working with studio centers, they do allow us to